Guten Morgen, as they would say in Deutschland. How's it going, folks? Did you hear morning? That's right. I know it sounded weird throwing you off. We usually film at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're hitting you with a midday stream because YouTube did not want to cooperate yesterday. Last night, for whatever reason, it said, nope, no, thank you. It's not working. It's not it. I'm not there. I'm not sure what's happening. Like, it's crazy to think about. Uh, it's just what happens sometimes when you're trying to do streams, trying to make it happen. It does what it does. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what you got to deal with as a streamer sometimes. But let's dive into it. We got NFL Week 2 action. Week 2 action. Are y'all excited? Week 1 was ridiculous. Your boy went 12-4. Not a bad week. My underdog of the week hit. So we're hoping that we can do that again for you folks. Trying to hit you with another one. See if we can up it up. I like that 13-3 area. I like that, that 14-2. I really like 14-2s. Those are real nice when you start getting those almost hitting them all right kind of. So game 1, we've got an interesting one. Thursday night football, Bills versus Dolphins. And your boy is picking the Dolphins. Fins for the win, as we like to say on this show. Look, there's a lot that goes into looking at this matchup. For one, it's a short week, Thursday, for both these teams, right? So Buffalo is going to have to also travel with that. Miami Dolphins players get to sleep in their bed and hopefully not get arrested while on their way to the stadium, right? Like hopefully, fingers crossed, everybody just makes it to the stadium peacefully, And the Bills are not the same team that they previously were. The Dolphins are only 2.5-point favorites in this game. Typically, Vegas goes 3 for the home team, so they're kind of hinting that maybe the Bills are half-point favorites. I am seeing 20% of the public on the Buffalo Bills, but this is still so early in the week this time that it makes you nervous with these bets. Week 1, it's easier to see what the betting public is doing, but, as someone that doesn't make their bets for Sunday's game until Sunday, then, you're not going to see that line movement until it's too late, basically. So you got to be careful looking at it, but I do like to look at the early ones when they become so lopsided. And there's a lot of things to look at it this week. This week's real funky because it seems like there's a lot of obvious winners, right? Where everybody thinks that like one could blow out the other. This could win. So, but the Bills are not the same Bills team that they were years ago. The Dolphins are still like rocking and rolling. Tua threw for the most yards last week, I believe it was. And you can start pointing to other quarterbacks that you would call decent that you would have to add together to get to his numbers. So that says a lot there. The Giants versus the Commanders. The Commanders rocking and rolling, right? Kind of a little bit. Got a little grease on the wheels. The Giants have looked absolutely terrible. I'm not sure. What was the statistic? The statistic for Daniel Jones is since throwing his or since signing his contract, he's thrown more pick six than like touchdowns over 20 yards or something like that. It was some ridiculous, like disrespectful, like I can't believe this is happening kind of stat. Like it'll blow your mind. But I think I'm still going to lean the Commanders We do have 13% on the Giants, so that's leaving enough room. I do look for 10% and under. That's when I raise the flag. And it's real close there with the Giants, but I do like the Commanders. Vegas only has them as 1.5 point favorites. So with like these real low spreads with that kind of favoritism, I'm gonna pick the Commanders to win, but I might just bet the Giants. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that for the dog alert. There's this next one should fall into that category, but I just fail to see it as a possibility. So this one's going to have 2% of the public betting on this team. They're saying it's statistically impossible. They're giving the Ravens an 8.5 point favorite. So to get even money, the Ravens must win by 9. Like, that's how big of a gap this is. We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Baltimore to get beat by the Ravens. Like, let's be honest. Even though there's only 2% of the public on the Raiders, I have trouble putting together a formula where the Raiders could win that game. I'm going to be completely honest. If Lamar Jackson, for some reason, was not able to play this game, I think I would still pick the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, Oki. Hey, popping in. Thank you. Good morning to you, too. I know it's weird. YouTube didn't want to work last night, so here we are doing a midday early stream. Kind of different. Next up, we have the Browns versus the Jaguars. Now, the fun part about the Browns is we're seeing Deshaun Watson with another lawsuit. You asked who's playing? Even checked. It is the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins with all that good controversy. Hopefully everybody makes it to the stadium. We need a nice, easy week 2 for the Dolphins to win. All right, yeah, let's get back into the Browns versus Jags. This is in Jacksonville. They are giving the Jags a 3-point spread, which I do like. I do like that for the Jaguars. We do only bet the money line, though. We don't mess with it. Thanks. I'll check Game Time. Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll probably stream then, too. I appreciate you popping in. That's awesome. Nice to see you. And make sure your husband knows those Cowgirls still suck. I'm sure you remind him every day. I've got no doubt. The Browns versus the Jags. We got 16% of the public for Cleveland. And look, Cleveland really is one of those teams that suggests they're a quarterback away, but without Nick Chubbs, it just ain't it for me. It ain't it for me. It just truly, I have trouble seeing it. Maybe with Nick Chubbs, we can pull off the upset, but I just don't think there's enough there. The Cleveland's defensive line is nasty with Myles Garrett leading the way, but I just don't like it. Next one on the board. What do we got next? Chargers versus the Panthers. Jeez Louise, how do you not bet the Chargers, right? Like, the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL. It'll be shocking. It'll be mind-blowing if they win a game this season. Like, honestly, I know it's not the greatest of money lines with that minus 270, and I hate betting the Chargers. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, nothing bothers your boy more than betting the Chargers. And it just ain't there for me. I just cannot imagine betting the Panthers in any fashion. Like, it just feels like a lock. They're giving Chargers a 6-point advantage at home for the Panthers, so you're really looking at like an 8-point spread. You might even think about taking the 6. If you take the 6 there, it's not the worst bet just to get the odds, make the game worth betting. a little more, because that 30% return is rough on some people. So basically, you're looking at, you bet $100, you're gonna make 30. That's what you're gonna get for betting this Chargers game, probably 35. You know what I'm saying? So let's if you take the spread, you can get there, and I can see the Chargers covering that with ease. Maybe, and you hate to say it, but maybe even without Herbert there, it's wild. Seahawks versus Patriots. Well, let's see what the betting odds are on that one. This is another one that you got to highlight and circle, because you see it's only 5% of the public on Carolina. And the 5% is wrong. That 5% lost their money. That line might even move by Sunday, so maybe you should lock that in while you can, Oh, loaded. I feel bad for Panthers fans. Next, we have the Seahawks versus the Patriots. This one's an interesting one. They are saying the Seahawks are favored. 3.5-point favorites playing the Patriots. And I'm going to be shocked here. I'm going to be shocked here. Am I going to bet the Patriots? This might be our dog of the week. We are going to circle that one. It is going to be the dog of the week, I believe. I like the possibilities for the Seahawks team. I do like the Patriots going into this game. They had a nice little week one against Cincinnati. And you feel like if they can compete with Cincinnati like that, surely they can compete with the Seahawks. And I'm positive preseason I did pick the Seahawks in this game. The Seahawks appeared to be the obvious choice. How does it go any other direction? But let's look at where the betting public line has it. Currently, it is 70% Seattle, 24% for New England. Now, if you did take the points, on the money line, that's giving you plus 150 and minus 185. Now, Seattle could win this game, but we also got to talk about how Seattle has to travel to get there. That's a cross-country trip, week 2 to start the season. At least it's early in this season. Both are kind of cold weathers, so you're not dealing with anything funky there. But these Patriots might be putting a little something together. Jacoby Brissett can win you games, apparently. We forget that sometimes. I guess at least I do. I know I do sometimes. Next, we have the 49ers versus the Vikings. This one's got some interesting notes around it, in my opinion. So this one falls in that 8% category. So you get less than 10% of the public is betting Minnesota. People believe we've got 92% betting San Francisco. They are giving San Francisco a 5.5-point spread on the road in Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is a dome, so you get some turf. You tend to be a little quicker on turf. Sam Bradford had an amazing game one. I really liked Sam Bradford, what he did with Minnesota. This one, I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but it has upset potential. It really, truly does. How are we saying that? Sam Bradford could upset the 49ers. If he plays like he did in week 1, the Vikings, in theory, have an opportunity to win this game. My problem is preseason I picked the 49ers. Right now I want to pick the 49ers. Like it's just crazy for me to see. Like it's wild to go. Oh man, that one's a toss up. We might circle back on this. We're gonna talk about what we want to look at for our underdogs of the week, our parlay bets of the week, and stuff like that. Let's see what we can't get in. This is this next one's kind of interesting too. And it's the Jets versus the Titans. The Jets are favored in this one. It's a 3.5 point favorite versus the Titans. And we're right there, borderline, right around that 10% mark, right? We have 13% of the public betting the Tennessee Titans. That gives you 87% for the Jets. And I really like this dog of the week, too. This one has potential for dog of the week. I do not like Will Levis, and I really need to continue to bet against him. Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback. However, the Tennessee Titans defense is 100% legit. It was already like ready to go. It is like as much as possible full steam ahead on that defense as you can imagine. That secondary could defeat Aaron Rodgers. But I'm going to stick to my guns. When you have such a lopsided quarterback matchup between Will Levis and Aaron Rodgers, I have to go with the Jets. I just have to go with the Jets. I can't do it. Like it's just such a bad situation in Tennessee. Now they played the Bears competitively, but I have questions about Bears and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was absolutely far from impressive, right? So let's go Jets on that one. And thankfully we got that little 3% of the public that keeps it like a possibility. Keeps it a possibility for me to pick the Jets. Next one is Colts versus Packers. Now, preseason, you would think Packers would be the obvious choice. You're going to hammer the Colts here. This is another lock of the week. This is going to be in a parlay. We call these the obvious winner parlays. That's going to be the Chargers versus Panthers, and now Colts over Packs. Jordan Love. If Jordan Love was able to play this game, I would not even think twice about betting the Packers. It should be an obvious Packers situation. Like this is crazy. We got 24% of the public still betting Green Bay over Indy. This is ridiculous. I wish they were underdogs so we can call the Indy the dogs of the week. Like this is ridiculous. Even a 2.5 point spread feels real safe. I'm just betting the money line. It's only minus 145, but that's why we're going to go ahead and parlay it with another lock, another locky poo. But what's really funky about this is these all seem like there's a lot of obvious winners here. Like the next game we have the Lions versus Buccaneers. And this one kind of seems disrespectful. This is a disrespectful line at 7.5. That line is trying to encourage people to bet the Buccaneers. That's going to be the Buccaneers playing the Lions. And I fully believe the Buccaneers can at least go toe-to-toe with them. This is not such a lock. 14% on the public betting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is going to be my dog of the week. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Hey, Key Lime, is he voting Trump? I don't know who you're asking about. I don't know who other people are voting for. And we don't really do politics on this show, sir. But I appreciate you stopping by. That's a pretty interesting name there. All right. Yeah, back into it. Yeah, we just watched Baker Mayfield have one of the most impressive performances in week one. What do you have, like a 146 passer rating? Like, this is a game the Buccaneers can absolutely win, and 7.5 points is disrespectful. If you're going to give me the Buccaneers, I might even just take the spread in this one. If you're going to give me even money and the Lions have to win by more than 8, give it to me. Just so you can be safe. We're going to put that one as the dog of the week. You're going to take that 7.5 points with Buccaneers. That is the dog of the week. And I'll probably even throw a unit on the money line on that game too, just to say the Buccaneers can upset. But I think I'm going to throw that into the obvious parlay as well. I like that one. That one's very interesting. Next is the Saints versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 6.5 point favorites at home. Saints had a monstrous week 1 versus the Carolina Panthers. But we need to put an asterisk around that because it's the Carolina Panthers. Only 12% of the public is betting New England or New Orleans, though. That does make it slightly debatable, right? That means we need to take a second look, right? Like, we need to double check. Like, let's clean the glasses and look. Yep, I'm going to confirm it. I'm still going to go with the Cowboys. I don't like the 6.5 points just because that's a large one. We are going to go money line. Keep that bad boy nice and tight. You know, make it easy. I just need a win from these Cowboys. I don't need nothing fancy. You know, this America's team is not much, and I'm surprised it's not a little bit more. But I guess the Saints or the Cowboys' performance week 1 versus the Browns was enough to show people that the Cowboys are at least a legit team in the NFC. Like, the fact that was able to be my dog of the week felt like cheating. If we're going to be completely honest, it felt like a cheat code. You can watch the video. What did I call it? I called it a gift from the Vegas gods. And you're going to find that again this week with that Tampa Bay 7.5 point spread. All right, the Lions are that bad. Look, I'm a Lions fan. You're not going to find someone supporting these Lions train more than me. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's really not even it. Look, these Saints, you know, if you watch Pat McAfee's show, they're going to show that they had a good offensive line. They started talking about how it was a top 5 offensive line. And I have trouble with that assessment. I have a little bit of trouble with that assessment because you're playing the Carolina Panthers. Let's be completely honest. Let's be completely honest here. That's not a benchmark. That is not a benchmark to base it off of, in my opinion. Next up is an interesting game, Rams versus Cardinals. 66% of the public betting the Rams, 34% on the Cardinals. Rams only 1 point favorites on the road. Bet heavy on the Rams. I like the Rams in this game. They're going to try to suggest that Arizona can stay in this. But the problem is Kyler Murray. I'm not a Kyler Murray supporter. I don't like this. The Rams, I'm not sure if Puka is healthy, and Stafford might be a question. You know what? Let's take a step back here. Can the Cardinals win this game? The Cardinals could not beat the Bills if we wanted to go the parity route, and the Rams took the Lions to overtime. The Rams showed they can go overtime with a top team in the NFL. The Cardinals could not beat what will be a non-playoff team this year. I think I'm going to stick with the Rams. I think I'm sticking with the Rams. I will check the injury report before making this bet. But we're going to have it on the picks. Picks for the week. Bengals versus Chiefs. You know it's Kansas City. It is Kansas City. all the way, right? Joe Burrow's never won a week 2 game. Joe Burrow just lost to the Patriots. You don't want to do parity, but I mean, there's a lot of question marks if you can't beat the Patriots. Jamar Chase is a disgruntled wide receiver because he's not paid. Like, it's a wild thought that you're not going to pay your old expensive little guy there, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why are you doing that? Why are you dealing with it? I just don't get it. I don't get it. So it doesn't get cheaper to wait, and that's what Cincinnati's looking at. Look, if paid Jamar Chase last season, they'd be looking at a $6 million a year discount. There is nothing that shows you from last season to this season to the season before that suggests you should not be paying Jamar Chase. Anytime you have a young sensation like this that you can tell is going to be a juggernaut for years and years to come. He came into the league as a top tier wide receiver, right? Has been one every year. Why are you not paying him? Look, the Bengals refuse to even put together an offensive line to protect Joe Burrows. And that's the problem they're running into. That's why you lose to teams like the Patriots, right? This is disgusting. The Chiefs are only 5.5-point favorites. And this is one of those interesting ones because this is the reason we bet money line, right? Even though it's a minus 250, so you need to bet $250 to make $100. Okay, so it's a lower return betting the straight money line, right? Which is less the reason to bet the game, in my opinion. Anytime you're not getting even returns or above, I have question marks whether I want to bet the game or not. And it's a good rule of thumb to stick to, in my opinion, because sometimes the juice is not worth the squeeze. But I mean, when you have some obvious locks, like how do you not like it? Only 6% of the public is on Cincinnati. I'm not sure how I feel about Cincinnati trying to do this. What is a scenario that Cincinnati could win this game? Let's play devil's advocate here. I don't see it. I'm not coming up with I like Kansas City's defense more than the Bengals. I like the offense more for the Chiefs than the Bengals right now. I mean, look what Xavier Worthy was doing. Look what Rashid Rice put up. These are bangers. This is crazy to try to think about. Let's see. No, still can't think of any reason to point to the Bengals. And the Bengals a few years back, tried to, run their mouth a little bit. They talked a little junk. We had to have a little back and forth situation. And when you start calling things Burrowhead, you run out of reasons to make new bulletin board material. I think Kansas City Chiefs might actually blow them out in this game. This might be well past that 5.5-point spread. Andy Reid usually plays games tight. That's why you want to stay away from the spread while betting the Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs fan telling you, do not bet the spread on the Chiefs. However, few games, they go all out. They don't take the gas off the pedal. They like to remind teams why they're better. Bengals fall into that category. Jamar Chase in the offseason was doing the NFL top 100. And you know what he had to say when they asked him who the best player was? He said he wouldn't even say his name. Like he was the boogeyman. We had the boogeyman pop up with Patrick Mahomes. Rough one. Rough. Super rough. Steelers versus Broncos. Steelers versus the Broncos. This will be an interesting one. This will be an interesting one. Only 2.5-point favorites for the Steelers. I like this one too. I'm going to put this one in the parlay of the obvious winners for the Steelers. Bo Picks is going to get picked apart by the superior coach of Mike Tomlin. Sean Payton is proving he is not a quarterback whisperer. We've had this argument. I've had this argument multiple times. Nobody can point to anyone outside of Drew Brees who was already a top tier pick. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he groomed him into something. And we keep seeing Sean Payton get these young guys that he can't do nothing with. You know, can't do nothing with. Jameis Winston looked worse underneath of him. He looked decent in Cleveland even. Jameis might go on to do something in Cleveland when they stop playing Watson. It is wild to think about. Like, woof, crazy. And this one we got to look at because we're right at that borderline of only 12% of the public betting on Denver. Could they turn it around? You know, could they? I think they're going to have to lean really heavy on the run game. Like, Denver could run the ball enough to win this game. Defensively, it's possible. Justin Fields is still maintaining to be the starter. Not looking the greatest, you know. Let's be honest, this offensive for Pittsburgh is nothing to just run away with. I'm going to leave this one out of the parlay. I'm talking myself out of it. I'm still going to pick the Steelers to win, but I'm going to leave this one alone just because of the funkiness of Steelers offense and betting wise. But to me, it feels like the Steelers are a very obvious choice. There's a reason the betting public is so heavy on Pittsburgh. What makes me nervous, though, is just it feels like upset weekend written all over it. It has this is going to be the biggest upset weekend of the NFL. I'm going to have to that's going to be the video, I think. This is the one to pay attention to because we have next on the board. Let's look at what we see next. You know, we got 12% of the public on Denver, 7% of the public on Chicago. The Chicago Bears are playing Houston Texans Sunday night, and it definitely appears the Texans should be heavy favorites, right? I'm also picking the Texans. Or is the NFL going to let the Cinderella story of Caleb Williams get crushed in week 2? He didn't look good in week 1. Was anybody impressed? Is any Bears fans going to say he was right? Look, my co-host Dude with the Beard is going to look correct, right? He called Caleb Williams a bust when he got it, and week 1 suggested its possibility. Now he's going to need to go on a Jordan Love-like run to suggest otherwise, to hint that it's not, to hint that it's a possibility of a difference. All right, next up is another game that's a landslide. Falcons playing the Eagles. 6.5-point favorites for the Eagles. 98% of the public betting on Philly. 2% with Atlanta. And right, Philly should win. Everybody was high on the Falcons preseason, including myself. Not so much on, I think what it is we're dealing with Kirk Cousins. Like, people always people hate it when I hate on Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins is showing why the Steelers could win without scoring a touchdown. Wasn't that all field goals? Come on now, Falcons. You're supposed to be destroyed on Monday night. 2% of the public. That's suggesting nobody outside of Atlanta is picking Atlanta. Like, it's just so lopsided. so lopsided, you know. And let's take a quick look at what these. Let me pull up. I want to get the parlays going, so I'm gonna do them. Let's get the math on those so I can write them down for the video I'm gonna make. I'm excited to do this. Oh, not wrong. It'd help if I could spell. I think I went to it too soon. Let's go. Let's hit up all. Let's see if DraftKings will let me make up a parlay with the obvious. Let's go with the obvious winners. Let's do Baltimore over the Raiders. Let's see if this will let me do it. I'm not logged in. Man, we're just getting crazy crap. No, well, let's switch it up. I'm sorry, this is bad. It should be better. I usually have my Hard Rock sports book pulled up, but I do not at this moment. So we're gonna see if FanDuel will let us take a little peek, run a little parlay, a little bet slip together. Let's see if we can get it. I know it won't let me place it, but let's see if it'll let me put it together for you guys and hit what we like to call the obvious, the ones that I know the betting public may not be in favor of or are in favor of, but we're still going to see what they can do. See what this looks like. Maybe, oh maybe. The sports book is questionable. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Let's see it. Does not have an incorrect order, so that's not going to help. Let's go Chargers over Panthers. Baltimore over the Raiders. Let's see, what's another one? Indy over Green Bay. And then I also, do I see any other ones that really stick out? I don't. I think that might be the 3-team parlay that I really, really like. Strong hitter there. That's going to be a strong hitter. Yeah. Let's do that. If we wager, it's going to give you a plus 592. So that's going to give you a plus 600 on a lock. I really like that one. I really like that. So again, your parlay is going to be I need to make sure I write these down because I want to save these bets for myself. We're going to go Chargers money line, Ravens money line, Colts money line. That is your first parlay with a plus 600. I like it. I like it a bunch. And if we throw in my dog of the week, suddenly you get a plus 1,200. Plus 1,200. I might throw a little bit just on that one too. And that dog of the week is going to be the Buccaneers plus 7.5. Oh, I took the spread on all those. I need to change this. This was not an accurate bet. That is not a plus 600. It's plus 600 if you do the spread. So the Chargers have to win by 5.5. Let's keep, oh man, all those I feel kind of confident on too. I don't like the 9 by the Baltimore Ravens. That's too high. That's going to be the one that cuts you. Let's fix this. Let's do the money line like a correct betting gentleman. Let's do this correctly. Money line. Oh, money line. I'm not used to using old FanDuel, so it does make it a little bit. And the Colts. Well, let's add the Colts. Bam. Plus 175. Ooh, that's a real light parlay there for the locks. 175. If we take Detroit, 7.5. That feels like one. That feels like one. I kind of want to do the Cowboys versus Saints. That feels real lockish too. Yeah, on the money line, it's going to give us plus 274. Let's build it up. We want more than that. We want more than that. Is there anyone else I can throw in here? Ooh, we could throw the Commanders. We could. Let's do the Commanders. That's going to give us a 5-leg parlay to hit plus 600, which isn't really good, honestly. But I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. It's going to be Chargers money line, Baltimore money line, Colts money line, Cowboys money line, Commanders money line. The big question is, do you have or you ever seen Aussie Rules football? I'm Australian. Not really. Are you talking like the American football version of it? Or are you talking soccer football? We got to be a little bit more specific, Tyler. And I apologize if I missed your question too late. I just noticed it. I did get deep into the parlay bet there. So let me know if that one does it for you. If I get it specific. Because if it's the American version of football, I haven't really seen a whole lot. Is it, what's the biggest difference as an Aussie? What do you notice? What am I missing out? What should be drawing me in? And shout out to an Aussie stopping by. I'm guessing you live somewhere by the ocean too. Like if I know an Aussie, they stay down by the beach as well. No, it's not soccer or American football. It's a different sport altogether. It's hard to explain. Nope, but I tell you what, I'm going to be doing some Googling after this show. You got me, you're going to send me down a little old Google path. Promise you that much. I feel like I know, I feel like I've heard that it's different, but I don't know if I've seen it. I don't think I have. You're going to have me doing some difference. Are they wearing pads and all that stuff, or are we getting rugby style too? Is it, where maybe you get a helmet or something? Oh, I thought that was kind of full contact, no pads, 18 players aside. Woof. 18 guys, 36 dudes on the field. Jeez Louise, bruh. Can you tell me how many people are on a rugby team? Is it 11 on 11? No protective gear, all just mouth guards, no helmets, no nothing. Hey, that does make you play a little different, you know. And to me, what that sounds like is like American backyard football rules. So growing up, you know, I'm sure in Aussie, you guys play a lot of soccer, 11 on 11 for rugby. Yeah, 18 versus 18 is nuts, man. That is like crazy. Even rugby's a little, you know, I think there's less of that major collision in rugby than you see in football, but it's definitely like just as physical. I'm going to guess that Aussie version is very physical too, especially with 18 on 18. I want to look up the rules. Like I think that could be an interesting video on diving on deep, how it's different down under. You know, how they're changing it, how they interpret football should be played. Because back in my day, you know, when you're just a wee little lad, instead of playing soccer, You might play t-ball or something, but a lot of us played a lot of backyard football. So you get a lot of smear the something, can't say that on YouTube word, style of football. Where it's questionable. I wonder if they have an offensive line. Like there's so many questions going on there that it really makes you wonder. Man, that'd be a fun one to go down. I like that one. And let's check out my dogs of the week though, to get back into a little sports betting. Man, I'm excited to check out that Aussie stuff. That's got me like really interested. Here we go. Similar shape to their American football. We kick it on most touches, or we hand the ball. Yeah, we are 2 weeks out from our grand final, and there will be 100,000+ people packed into the stadium. Shout that out! Shout that out! Do you got a favorite team? What's the teams? How big is the league? How many teams are we working with? That's pretty amazing. 2 weeks till the final, so I still got a chance to tune in to the grand final. Well, I appreciate the heads up. Like that is, look, I got a sporting event to pay attention to. Like I like this off the ball. Maybe I can help spread it to Americans. Some of my videos get a lot of views. Not all of them. You'll post one, it'll get 10 views. The next one, you're at 10 million. It doesn't make sense. YouTube never really makes sense to me. But that is so crazy. Let's get into my dogs of the week, though. The old dogs. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line because I feel like that is winnable. I kind of want to take the Vikings with that 5.5, but the 49ers really are just a different defense. They are just a different kind of defense. I think I'm going to still throw the Chargers money line into this one, just because I think it's mathematically impossible for the Panthers to win. I just don't see it. Do I want to go Titans dogs? Do I want to go Titans? I don't. This is the Jets getting back on track. We're going to take the Commanders. They are not dogs, but it is, only being 1.5 point favorites at home is going to make me pick them, because that's basically Vegas calling them dogs. But I think that will be our next parlay that we make together. The one where the home team is favored to win, but by not enough to cover that 3-point favorite. Now, we've got a few of those. A couple of them. And do I have any other dogs? Do I want to go Patriots? Oh, no, that's next week. That is just going to be, we got a 3-legged dog parlay for 382. Tampa plus 75 or plus 7.5 for 115. Let's change that to, let's get Tampa out. Everybody, all these other bets are money line. Let's call Tampa the outright dogs, because that makes this a real dog parlay with a plus 850. We're gonna choose the Chargers over the Carolina Panthers, which is not a dog, but it's a lock. Commanders over the Giants, which is a coin flip, and Bucks over the Lions, which is an absolute dog. Absolute dog. That's where the big money's coming from. The plus 265 if you take that just straight up. And I will be taking that straight up with a plus 265. I like that dog. And my dogs, I'm not as confident as I was last week with the Dallas Cowboys, but I feel awfully confident with that one. All right, and let's take a look at these ones where the team is favored, but not by enough for Vegas. So you're going to want to bet the Bills because they're only giving Miami Dolphins 2.5. So that's that 3-point line. So take the Bills money line, which is a loss. Don't do that. We're taking that off there. Don't do that. Don't. We're skipping that one. I don't even care. It's just not right. The Jags. So let's take the Browns. The Jags just have that 3-point money line, so they fall on that category. Even though the Jags should be higher, especially with as much money as Vegas is hitting. Let's see, another one is going to be the Green Bay Packers are borderline. Or the Colts. No, that is not borderline. All right, we're going to take the Commanders again. And then we're going to take the Cardinals are 1.5-point dogs. It's not favorites. That's not favorites. That might be the only two. Is it just two? It might just be two. That is just two. So we get a plus 343 with that. So you're going to take the Browns and the Commanders money line for a plus 350. That's not bad. That's not bad. Triple, get a 3.5 times your money. Bet $10, win 35, put 45 back in your pocket. Bet 100, you get 350, so you're going to put 450 back in your pocket. I like that one a bit. I like that one a touch. I truly do. That is going to be your little parlays of the week. I like those. And shout out to anybody that's made it this far into the football season. And I am going to go check out some Australian football now. Hope y'all enjoy your day and join us for the live stream watch party tonight. Shout out.